Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you today? Fine, okay. Meet again with me. I will teach micro teaching narrative text MALIN KUNDANG. Before study, let's pray together. Begin. Okay, before going the core of learning, I will attend the first name. Aisyah, stay here. Nina, present miss. And Lily, present. Okay, all students were heard. Next, the material. We will explain about narrative text. Definition of narrative text. Narrative text is a story with complication or problematic event, and it tries to find the resolution to solve the problem. An important part of narrative text is the narrative mode. The set of methods used to communicate the narrative through a process narration. The purpose of narrative text. The purpose of narrative text is to amuse or to entertain the reader with a story. Characteristic of narrative text. Narrative text tell the story of the past. Use noun to replace pronoun of animals, people, or object in the story. More is a factor or has been known and developed in the community of a shared story. Although it can be retold in different versions of the story. Story element consists of setting the time and place, the theme of the story, the character of the story, the atmosphere of the story. Conflict and resolution can be arranged into a simple sequence or composite of several complex sequences. Sequence is a series, a statement whose execution is in sequence or concurrent. What is found first will be done first, and if the order of the statement is referenced, it will have a different meaning. Generic structure of narrative text: orientation, complication, resolution, and then reorientation or coda. Orientation: set the scene, where and when the story happens, and introduce the participant of the story, who and what is involved in the story. Complication tells the beginning of the problem, which leads to the crisis climax of the main participant. Resolution: the problem, the crisis is resolved. Either is a happy ending in a sad, tragic ending. Reorientation or coda. This is a closing remarks to the story, and it is optimal. It consists of a moral lesson, advice, a teaching from the writer. Types of narrative text. The following are some types of narrative text, including fable, a story that tells about animal. Myth. The story of myth has developed in many sequence and is generally considered to be a factual or true story. Legend. Folklore that tell how the origin of a place exists. Folktale. A story told from generation to generation, so that it become a part of communicative tradition. Fairy tales. Folk stories are children's stories that contain elements of mirage or impossibility of the characters and at the end contain moral message. And then love story. Love story emphasizes the time of the story which contain the steps to get love for the main character. In addition, there are also other types such as science fiction, horror, mystery, history, sales of life, personal experience. Generic structure of narrative text MALIN KUNDANG. Orientation, complication, resolution, and then reorientation or coda. Orientation. A long time ago, is a small village near the beach in West Sumatra lived a woman and her son, MALIN KUNDANG. MALIN KUNDANG and his mother had to live hard because his father had passed away when he has a baby. MALIN KUNDANG was a healthy, diligent, and strong boy. He usually went the sea to catch fish. After getting fish, he would bring it to his mother or sell the chow fish in the town. One day, when MALIN KUNDANG was sailing, he saw a merchant ship being raided by a band of pirates. With his bravery, MALIN KUNDANG helped the merchant tell the pirates to thank him. The merchant allowed MALIN KUNDANG to sail with him. MALIN KUNDANG agreed in the hope to get a better life. He left his mother alone. Many years later, MALIN KUNDANG became wealthy. He had a huge ship and a lot of crew who worked trading goods. He was also married to a beautiful woman. When he was sailing on his trading journey, his ship landed on a choice near a small village. The local people recognized that it was MALIN KUNDANG, a boy from the area. The news ran fast in the town. MALIN KUNDANG has become rich and now he is here. Complication. An old woman, who was MALIN KUNDANG's mother, ran to the beach to miss of being lonely after a long time. When his mother came near him, MALIN KUNDANG, who was with his beautiful wife and his ship crew, denied that she was his mother. She had supplied MALIN KUNDANG the new rice merchant. She wanted to hug him to realize her sadness, to look at her and admit that she was her mother. But he kept rising to do it and yelling at her. At last, MALIN KUNDANG said to her, a loud woman, "I have never had a mother like you, a dirty and ugly woman." After that, he ordered his crews to set sail to live the old woman, who was then full of sadness and anger. Resolution. Finally, failing and ragged, she cursed MALIN KUNDANG that who would turn into a stone if he didn't apologize to her. MALIN KUNDANG just loved it and set sail. Suddenly, a thunderstorm came in the quiet sea, breaking his whole ship. He was thrown out to a small island. It was really too late for him to avoid his course. He had turned into a stone. After that, he ordered his crew to set sail like the old woman, who was then full of sadness and anger. And then reorientation or coda. MALIN KUNDANG is a hardworking and diligent boy who had a dream to help her mother someday. But he forgot with his dream and promised to make her mother happy. His properties made him ignore his mother, even as made to admit her mother in front of her wife. His mother was very sad and angry, and then she curses MALIN KUNDANG into a stone. The conclusion of narrative text. Narrative text is a story with complication or problematic event, and it tries to find the resolution to solve the problem. The purpose of narrative text is to amuse or to entertain the reader with a story. Characteristic of narrative text. Narrative texts tell the story of the past. Use noun to replace pronoun of animals, people, or object in the story. More is a factor or has been announced and developed in the community as a shared story, although it can be retold in different versions of the story. Story element consists of setting the time and place, the time of the story, the character of the story, the atmosphere of the story, conflict and resolution. Can be arranged into a simple sequence, a composition of several complex sequences. Sequence is a series of statements whose expression in a sequence or concerned. Types of narrative text. The following are some types of narrative text, including fable, myth, legends, folktale, fairy tales, and then love story. Generic structure of narrative text. Orientation, complication, resolution, and then reorientation or coda. Orientation. Set the schemes where and when the story happens and introduce the participant of the story, what and who is involved in the story. Complication. Tells the beginning of the problem which leads to the great climax of the main participant. Resolution. The problem, the crisis is resolved either in a happy ending or in a sad tragic ending. And then resolution and coda. This is a closing remarks to the story and it optimal. Okay, thank you. I think enough. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.